Welcome back again then to Wakey Academy as we move on to the strikers in our So11 Under-23 Championship side. And we've got 5 for you today then, one from each of the top 5 leagues. So we've got England, Italy, Spain, Germany and France. We'll have one from each league. The guy who comes in first place, my first choice out of these 5, will get into my team, which we'll see at the end here. We've only got a striker and a goalkeeper left to go. So here's the strikers then. And my first one, as you can see on the screen here, is Myron Boadu. Now, he's had an L5 of 50, but he's only played 40% of the games. He's been a little bit injured, but he's also been in and out of the team. Now, you'll see he's worth £10 now for his limited card. That's a decent price, £10 for his limited, £100 for his rare, and £1,100 for his super rare. So it does go up in 10% basically, or times 10, sorry, I should say. But not at the best of times at Monaco. He was brilliant when he used to be in Holland. And he is a Netherlands player. And looking down, let's go to his overall prices then, because he used to be quite high, this lad. And you'll see, even me, I bought him before again here. Look, £69 I paid for him once. He went all the way up to £120, but now down at £10 for this guy. I think it's well worth the risk. You know, even if he doesn't play well, but he's also been eyed up at the moment by, is it Feyenoord? I think it's Feyenoord. And the last few days I've been looking at him. But we'll come back to that point in a second. So looking at his SO5 scores then, and we'll do it again, we'll do overall, since he's been on the platform then. And you'll see here, he's had some great scores over in Holland, didn't he? Or the Netherlands, if you want to say it that way. But then, all these injuries and not getting in the team and stuff, yeah, really affected him and affected his price as well. And he's come right down now. You see here, 3 DNPs in his last 3 games. But I think he could have a great season, especially if he goes back to Feyenoord. Imagine him going back and hitting these scores like he used to do over there. And he's only worth £10 at the moment. I think that's a really good buy and a sensible buy. And in fact, yeah, I was thinking about his rare for £100. That's a really good price for Boadu if he goes to Feyenoord. So get in quick. Go and get him up now. So we'll see on his news page and that Feyenoord, they want 14. Well, they're going to pay £14.5 million for a striker. And after agreeing Danilo going to Rangers, so Danilo on his way to Rangers, and Feyenoord now looking at Boadu as a replacement for him. I think it's a pretty decent one. There's no other real news on him here, but let's look at his Wikipedia, and there is definitely a mistake on this. Yeah, so I was doing a little bit of research on him, and I looked at Boadu here, and I saw that his current team that got down as Rangers. And I was thinking, has he moved? What's happened here? Why is Boadu down as Rangers? And according to this, he's played 43 times for them, so it's obviously wrong. And then even reading his write-up then, you see he plays as a striker in Scottish Premier for Rangers. Well, he doesn't. So maybe they got him mixed up with Danilo. I'm not sure, but obviously that's wrong, so incorrect. So we can't see the proper stuff for him here. But let's have a look then. Place of birth, Amsterdam, Netherlands. He's 6 foot, he is a striker, plays number 9, but not for Rangers, so I'm not even sure he's the number 9 now. But he's currently at Monaco. 64 games for AZ Alkmaar, 32 goals. I mean, is that even right, AZ? This is someone else's career, isn't it? So I don't think we should even pay attention to any of this, to be honest, because it just looks like they've got it completely wrong. Let's move to his SOFA score then. And we'll see. He's both feet, so he plays left and right footed. He is a shirt number 9. He's a forward for Monaco. 183 centimetres. He's worth 6.6 million, so not a lot to get him at the moment because of his performances at the moment have been really poor. Ground duels is his weakness, but I'd say so he's starting in a match for somebody. But I think he'll have a really good season. So this year then, played 12, only started 3, 25 minutes per game. Scored more than he's expected to with 3 goals there. And I don't think he got any assists, did he? Look like it now. So not a lot you can really write on him from this season. But I think he will have a really good season. And he is my he's my guy that I'm going to pick for France. And he plays for Monaco, Myron Boadu. And we come to our next choice then. And representing England is Alexander Isak. He plays in the Premier League for Newcastle United. In the last season, had a really good season, I think. Didn't play as many games as I wish he would have done, but that gives me the opportunity now to pick him in this as having a really good season as he tries to move on from last year. Now his last 5 were only 42, and his last 15 was 47, so 100% of them games he played in But of course now Newcastle building with Tonali coming in and a few more hopefully being added. I think he might get a few more goals this season then as they get a bit more creative up front. So he does play as a striker. Looking at his price at the moment, £31, 34 for his floor price, 287 for his rare at the moment, but you'll have to pay 300 if you wanted him right now, £310. But look at his price here, and he started at 400 at one time, but has moved all the way down now to, as we say, £31. So I think that's still quite a good price to get him for the season. And I think Newcastle will have a really good year. They've also got utility in Europe as well in that Champions League this season. You can see his SO5 scores in front of me then. And he was getting like 70s and 80s quite a lot, but he also got a load of 30s and stuff. So, he is capable of a poor score as well as a good one. Recently, a couple of 60s and 70s, but then again, some really poor scores here, as you can see, at 38 or 31. Consistently not doing that great, is he? So he's in and out of the team all the time, in and out of the good scores all the time. Has played a lot of the match, and you'll see 90 minutes for quite a lot of the last, 6 or 7 games. Not great scores there. I think now with even more creativity up front, he could go on to have a great season. So you'll see, he shouldn't have much news about him here then. 3 days ago, ex-Newcastle star Enrique and prioritised Isaac over Callum Wilson if he was manager, whether you're not manager, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, he's been okay, but no real news on him there. Looking at his Wikipedia then, let's hope this is the right Wikipedia for him then. He was born in 1999, so he's 23 years old. Got utility again for one more season. Was born in Solna, Sweden. He's 6'4". He's bigger than I thought. I thought he was like 6'1" or something, but he's 6'4". Plays for Newcastle, number 14. Started his youth career at AIK in Sweden. And then played for Borussia Dortmund. Played for the second team, hit 5 goals in 12 games. Then moved on to the first team before going on loan to Willem 2. And hit 13 goals in 16 games. That snaps Real Sociedad into action, and they bought him on 105 games with 33 goals before moving to Newcastle, 11 in 22. It might be slightly more than that now. This is up to date, it's quite up to date according to this, so we'll see. But international careers, he's played for the 17s, 19s, and 21s, and he's actually played 40 games now for Sweden, having scored 9 goals. So not bad. Could have another good season, couldn't he? Let's have a look how we got on. We'll have a look at the Premier League stats. So that's the 22 games. So yeah, he has played 22, so it's up to date then. But he's a right-footed forward. He's Swedish. Ground duels is his weakness. I mean, he's really tall, but to be honest with you, he's got really good feet for his height. Now, you'd expect him to maybe be a bit gangly, 6'4". Does look a little bit gangly, but he's got really good feet. You see here, he tends to pull out to the left-hand side rather than the right. And is he left-footed or right? He's right-footed, so he probably likes to cut inside and hit it with his right foot. But played 22 times, started 17, 69 minutes per game on average. Team of the week 3 times with 10 goals. And did he also get an assist? 1 assist. So not too bad then. So he did have a good season last year, but I think with the way Newcastle are going, he could have an even better season then. So that is my guy representing England then for Newcastle United. It's Alexander Isak. So we move on to our third player then, and we are looking at Giacomo Raspadori for Napoli in Serie A, representing Italy. Now, he's the last 5 of 49, played 80% of the games then, the last 15 of 47. Quite consistent along them, I would have thought. But also his price at the moment, and £16 for a 2-week average, and £24 floor price. So you might get that a little bit cheaper. You might sort of get maybe £18 to £20 for that. 172 for his rare, but you'll have to pay 292 right now, today, so a bit inflated there. But he's 504 from the forwards list. A young lad that I've followed the career of for quite a while now then. Does play centre striker for Napoli. But we'll have a look at his overall prices then. And again, you see this when he first came out, bang, he was up there at 243. But as we say, now down at 24 quid. I think this could be a real steal then, because he's an Italian striker as well, national side. He's got into 1 or 2 of them games, but I think he could have a really explosive season again. Let's go on to have a look at his SO5 scores then. Now, he's not lived up quite to what we expected when he first came out. However, he's still done quite well. You see on his scores here, and a lot of greens up there. There are still 1 or 2 oranges and yellows as well. In his last game, he was playing for Italy there, and he actually scored in his last game against the Netherlands. So he is sort of figured about in the national side. You see there 65 games, 25 goals, 11 assists in them 65 games. I think he's a pretty good player then, and for just £16, it could be a real steal for the season. Again, you'll see here he's had a lot of games as substitute there before getting back into the Italian side up there. But before that then, so all these games as substitute. Before that he was substitute. Look at these scores he was getting, 76, 63, 69 as a substitute. So, you know, only 4 minutes in that game, still scored 30 minutes there and 16 there. So he's really got to break in and make that position his own in the Napoli side. But let's have a look about his the news that we've got on him here. And there's nothing recently. It's about Italy saying they need to keep a team going all the time, and he's part of it. But nothing, no news really on him. Looking at his Wikipedia page then, you'll see here he is 23 years old, born in 2000, in Bentivoglio in Italy. 5'8", so quite small, minute character. Number 81 for them, or he was last season. Started his youth career at Progresso, and then went on to Sassuolo. Played 76 times for them with 18 goals. So it wasn't like a prolific goal scorer. But then went to Napoli on loan, only 2 goals in 25 games. Wasn't great. But looking at his international career then, played for 17s all the way to national side. 18 games for them now with 5 goals as well. As far as it is up to date on this, 2023, June 23. So according to that, it's pretty up to date. But looking at his, I'm just going to change this to Serie A. Looking at last season then, you will see he played 26 times, only started 10 and only 37 minutes per game. Still got 2 goals, but expected goals were 3.5 and he only got 2. So below there, which is good for his pricing because now he should go up if he has a good season. Expected assist was 1.3 and he hit 2. But also looking at over here, his strengths and long balls and anchor play. Now, he is a striker, but obviously they're calling him like a deep lying striker. Can also play in that attacking midfield role. And on the pitch you'll see there, he's sort of in that sort of number 10 position there. Does take a couple of corners here and there, but nothing much. But he will be, I think, a great player this season. And I don't think he'll move, I think he'll stay at Napoli, but also in that Italian side as well. And should have a really good season. So that's my choice for Italy. It's Giacomo Raspadori for Napoli in Serie A. And moving on to Germany then. We go to RB Leipzig for our next player. And this is Benjamin Sesko, who plays in the Bundesliga. He is Slovenian, but he has just made a move as well over to Leipzig. Really good player. He's one of these that's moved again to Leipzig from his last club. A lot of players seem to do this. But it's going to be his first season there, and I think he's ready for the step up. He's played really well so far. You see his last 5 there of 48, last 15 of 51, last 40 of 47. He's a striker, does sometimes get dropped when you don't expect it. Now whether he's had little niggles here and there as he's playing, I'm not quite sure. But he's £38 at the moment, and that's his floor price as well. £335 for his rare. I think that might be a little bit too high at the moment, considering he's just about, that he has moved and he's going to start his first season. But look at his price here then, it was flying up, it was up at £500 of course. We had the massive crash as always, and it's right back down. £35 I think you're going to make a bit of a killing on this guy, so long as the prices on So Rare stabilise a little bit and don't go down any more. But let's look at his SO5 scores then, and we'll have a look at the whole lot of them. And you'll see here, when he was playing for Salzburg, was where he played all last season then. But he was moving to Leipzig, I think like halfway through the season he was going to move to Leipzig. And the deal was already done quite quick. But you'll see here, he has been able to hit these 70s and 80s, never gone to hit 100 yet. But he's been quite close before, can score a lot of goals, and is a Slovenian national as well, international player, so it could be good utility there, but he's not been playing too well for them. You see his all-round score days, he's not great with his all-round scores, is he? But when he does play Salzburg, you'll see a lot of goals here, a lot of assists and stuff. Normally plays, or had been playing the 90 minutes, but then he's starting to get dropped a couple of times in 66 minutes there. But I mean, in fairness, he has played nearly every game there. That shocked me a little bit, because when I used to own him, I was frustrated because he wasn't getting in. It must have been here, look, this is where he wasn't getting in. So he played that 90, and then he had, not even in the squad, and then on the bench, and then a few minutes here and there. Scored a hat-trick in 45 minutes against Rapid Vienna, one of the better clubs over in Austria. They got a 93.6. So he seems like one of these players that can either bang and smash or does nothing during the game. But is there anything on here then? Inter Milan could meet Philippe Starlet. That was 2 weeks ago. I can't see that happening. So Inter Milan going for Benjamin Sesko. I can't see it. He's only just gone there. But, you know, he's obviously got interest still. Newcastle United, that was back in April. So, yeah, he shouldn't be moving anywhere. So looking at his Wikipedia then. He's 6'4", so again, another tall striker. He's only 20 years old. Seems like he's been around for absolutely ages. I remember somebody saying that he was not quite as good, but it reminded him of Haaland. He's got this Haaland thing about him where he scores lots of goals, natural goal scorer. I've seen him miss a hell of a lot of goals when he should have scored. But started his youth career at Radici, and then, just carried on, that's all of his youth career, but ended up at Salzburg. And played from 19 to 23 for Salzburg, 55 games, 21 goals. Went on loan in between that spell. He did go on loan to Liefering and scored 22 times in 44 games then. Hasn't played for Leipzig yet, only pre-season. But for Slovenia, started at under 15s all the way to national level, 6 goals in 21 games. So he's one of these, and there seems to be this thing now, with the players we're selecting, they all seem to play from like the 15s all the way up to the national side, or you know at least the under 21s. So they've got this like breeding between them, where they're getting in these national sides all the way through. So they should end up at the international team and playing at a top club, hopefully. Sesko then, let's have a look at his Bundesliga, Austrian Bundesliga. Well, let's have a look over here first. He's 20 years old, right-footed forward. Number 30 was his shirt, I don't know if it still is. 25 million is worth. Long shots he's good at. It must be the near ones he's crap at them. Ground duels and passing are his weaknesses. And you'll see on his map here, on his season heat map, he does tend to pull back quite a lot into midfield here. Just come back. He hasn't even taken corners by the looks of it at some point. I didn't know he was on corners. Played 30 games, started 23, 68 minutes per game, 3 team of the weeks then, but 16 goals in them 23 starts. That's not bad. But considering he scored 3 of them as a substitute, yeah, we'll see. Now then, let's have a look down here. He's passing, 3 assists as well. I just think he's an all-round decent player and he should have another good season. I hope he doesn't go to Inter Milan. I hope he stays where he is. But that's my choice for Germany. It's Benjamin Sesko of RB Leipzig. And on to my final striker then, who could be pushing for this side, and it's Ansu Fati from Barcelona. He's still only 20 years old, another one that's been around for years. Had a long injury, I think he was out for about a year, and it sort of stopped his growth. But he's back. He's back in this side as well. Now he's got Lewandowski to try and contend with. But he's doing okay. Last 5 games and 45. I don't know if he's been starting from the left wing. We'll have a look in a minute with his SO5 scores, if he's been starting from the left or not. But last 15 and 37. So again, good for your cap mode, because he's actually hitting 45s now, but 37 for your cap mode. £25 floor price then. That's not bad. That's not bad. I think that will go up massively. Still only younger member. But starting to mature, £259 for his rare price, but £350 for his floor price at rare. That's a lot. But you see his prices, and he started off with £1,000 and someone paid for him once. So they must be kicking themselves a little bit now as you see him down at 25 quid. Oof, that's going to sting a little bit, that. But his SO5 scores probably match that as well then. Because if we go to his all-time scores here, we'll see, this is where he was really in the team, doing really well. And he actually burst onto the scene, didn't he? And actually got playing for Spain as well, I believe. Got to play for the national side, I think. But then out, look at his injuries here. Came back for a while, I don't know if there's another injury after that. But then nothing, substitute all the time. Has hit a 91, has hit 100 in the past, so he's capable. But, yeah, nothing great up there. Playing for Spain again just recently then in 2 of them games, come on as a substitute. And he's back playing for Barcelona and hit 2 goals just recently. Hit an 85 then a 66. But again, you see there's a lot of oranges here as a substitute player because of Lewandowski going in there now. And where did he play? He played as a striker. And let's see if he's been playing on the left at all. Mainly strikers, and when you see the blue shirts. Striker, striker, striker. So, yeah, I thought he might have moved over to the left, which is where he was really explosive when I first ever saw him. He was on that sort of left wing and got into the Spain side, as I say. But Fati, let's have a look at his news then. Total turnover for Fati. So they had a desire to sell him then, but it looks like he's staying. Hopefully he stays, because I bet he'd love to play for Barcelona full time. His career was going so well, and of course Lewandowski's not going to be there forever. So hopefully Fati stays where he is then. Now if we look at this, he's only 20 years old. He was born in Bassou in Guinea, and he is 5'10". So he's quite small then for a forward, but he is sort of a winger come forward as well. Plays at number 10 for Barcelona, and you'll see here he's got a youth career there, Sevilla and Barcelona, but his senior career, he made his debut playing for Barcelona in 77 games, 22 goals. Remember, he's only 20 now, isn't he? Is he 20? Yes, he's only 20 now. And he scored 22 goals in 77 games for Barca already. Played for Spanish under-21s twice, and played for the Spanish side then 9 times now. Which means, he's no slouch if he's playing for Spain. And we'll have a look at his stats then, and we'll go to the, La Liga. And you'll see here he's 20 years old, right-footed, shirt number 10, 36 million is his value at the moment. His passing is a strength and ground duels is a weakness. I mean, ground duels are always a weakness for strikers, but passing is a strength. And again there, they've got him as left wing here, so I knew he played out on the left. And if you look at his season heat map, even though he's down as playing as a striker, it looks like he's a left striker, doesn't it? Has taken a few corners as well. But 36 games, only started 12 with 39 minutes per game, which means he needs this time to push on again. He was in the team all the time, getting 90 minutes, but now 39 minutes total for the season. Expected goals was 9, he only hit 7. And we see also his passing, expected assists 2 and he hit 3, so sort of nearly evens itself out. But not much more on that. But I think, Fati is still a name that you should be aware of and think this guy will be great, because a few years ago he was like hot property, and I think he could get back to that stage as we speak now. So that is my my option for Spain, for Barcelona, and it's Ansu Fati. So we look at our 5 strikers, and I put them in order from number 1 to 5, and we'll start off with the guy in 5th place, and it's Myron Boadu of Monaco. We then move on to Ansu Fati then, representing Spain. Sorry, Boadu's representing France, but we'll move on to Ansu Fati, playing for Barcelona, representing Spain. We move to Alexander Isak, who gets in at 3rd place and could have a really good season, Isak, in that great Newcastle side. And he's representing England, of course, Newcastle United. And then we've gone to the front 2. Now, this was quite close between these 2 because Sesko was brilliant in Austria, but I'm not sure in Germany whether he's going to, hit and have quite as much impact. But I've gone for Sesko in 2nd place there, playing for Leipzig, hopefully still for Leipzig. And that, of course, is in Germany. And then we go to the top, who I put at number 1 then, to have a great season this year, Giacomo Raspadori. I think he will really, really explode on the season for Napoli. And he will be my top striker and gets into the first 11 then of my So11 side. So let's have a look what it could look like now. So we've now picked 10 of our 11 places in this side then. Still waiting on the goalkeeper to be picked, but we have got Botman and De Ligt at the back, with Parisi left, Clearly right. We've got Tonali and Gravenbach in the midfield here. Tonali more of a holding player, Gravenbach just in front. And then we've got Foden as at number 10 in behind the striker, also moving up and left and right, in behind him, presenting great chances hopefully for Raspadori, and not obviously knocking it out for the wingers here then. In which we've got Anthony and we've got Barkley. These can obviously switch over, we can put him there and Barkley here. I mean, Foden can even cut out to the outside if he needs to. But with Raspadori in there as well, quite a biggish striker. And I think with them 3 behind him, and that's a great side from the 23 team. I think it looks quite strong then. But looking at this so far, we're still waiting on the goalkeeper, as we say. I'm not sure where he's going to be from. But we've got England that have 1 player. And they have 2 players with Tonali. Foden 3. So they've got 3 players. Oh, and Anthony 4. So we've got 4 English in there. Am I a little bit biased towards English? I'm not sure. I hope not. But then we've also got Parisi of Italy. We've got, who else is Italy? Kalulu. That's 2 from Italy. Anybody else we can see there from Italy? And Raspadori 3. So they could have a goalkeeper that makes 4. So they're on 3 at the moment then. Who else we got in France? We've got Barclay. I don't think they've got anyone else, France. So, yeah, only one from them. In Germany, we've got Gravenbach and De Ligt. And that's it. So, yes, it's either going to be England or... who's it won? I can't remember who the one was now. England or Italy, I think, isn't it? Italy can draw and have 4 players as well. So we've got the goalkeepers to go, so that's what's going to happen next. But this is my team so far. Hopefully you like it. And if you do like it, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe so you can see who gets in that goalkeeper at the end. And then we'll do the adding up as well, probably in the next video, or the one after the goalkeepers. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.